Good morning. Welcome to First Church Unitarian on this crisp, cool morning, and to our all-online Sunday service. My name is Monica Pilman, and I serve currently as a deacon in this congregation. Our order of service was sent out to everyone via email yesterday, and the Community Matters newsletter was sent out on Friday. We are in red light protocols today, which means that due to a COVID exposure incident, we have been having online church only for the last 2 weeks, including this week. However, your executive team has decided to return to yellow light protocols starting next Sunday for services on December 12th, meaning that we will return to both in-person and online church services at that time. Let's see. Our church staff will return to their offices and their in-building office hours on Wednesday. I am collecting cash and checks and also Venmo payments for our annual holiday staff gift. Please give generously in the time that we have to give a little bit of extra cheer to our minister and staff this holiday season. If you write a check, write it to Monica Pilman, and in the memo line put FCU Staff Holiday Gift. I am accepting personal cash donations, and I'll go pick them up within reason as well. And also you can contribute via Venmo through my account, monicapilman@yahoo.com on Venmo. Please give generously. I'm setting a deadline of December 19th for these donations because we're going to need some time to go ahead and calculate all the total amounts and cut the checks. All right. I suggest that everybody have a look at Community Matters for today. It's longer than usual, and there's a lot of interesting things in there from RE, from Malley for music, and also some opportunities to contribute your Christmas cookies to Neighborhood Supper, and also a list of things needed by other charities this holiday season if you get a chance to look at it, and also some things having to do with racial justice and GA. Enjoy the service.
Good morning. My name is Malley Lozeau, and I'm the music director. And this is Natalie, and she's the assistant music director. And we are going to introduce the Prelude for today. It's J.S. Bach's Prelude in C major, which maybe you've heard before, but maybe you don't know very much about. It's the first prelude in a set of 48 preludes and fugues that Bach wrote. It was published in 1722. So if you think about how long ago that was. And the point of this book was to give pianists a chance to play in every single key, major and minor key, and that's why there's 48 that correspond with like C major, C minor, C sharp major, C sharp minor, D major, D minor, and so on. And this is the very first one, and I hope you enjoy.
my opening words this morning are the poem Come Christmas by Maureen Killoran. No one is ever really ready for Christmas. If we were really all prepared, if every gift we had contemplated had been obtained, if every present was beautifully beribboned, if all the goodies our friends deserve were baked and cooled and stored just so, if each and every person we love was gathered for our celebration, if we never snapped at someone we care about, nor stopped short of being all that we could be, if our minds were 100% loving and our hearts were 100% generous, they truly would be ready. And truly, we would not need Christmas quite so much. So come Christmas, most needed of seasons. Come with the reminder that love does not depend on perfection, but on willingness to risk connection. Come into the unready manger of our hearts that we may feel the warmth of new life and give flesh to the promise of hope. And that cries to bring healing into our world. Come Christmas. I'd like to invite Fergus to come forward and light our chalice this morning. There you go.
Love is the spirit of this church and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Thank you, Fergus. I'd like to now invite Carolyn to light our Advent wreath.
After you unmute. Yeah, you didn't unmute, Carolyn. There you go.
Oh, okay.
There we go. This second Sunday of Advent, I light 2 candles. Last week's was the candle of hope. This week, we add the candle of peace with the words of commemoration, American, Tibetan, Buddhist nun. If we want there to be peace in the world, we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We have to have that kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That's the true practice of peace. As UU Minister Erica Hewitt writes, may this time of waiting inspire our courage. May we find the soft spot in the pleasures of the season and stay with it as we discern our way forward. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be at ease and discover the true practice of peace within us so that there might be peace in the world.
Thank you, Carolyn. And now I'd like to invite Roger to please light our menorah.
Okay, I'll be lighting all 8 candles first, and then I'll recite the blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehesanisim la'avotenu bayamim ha'yamim bazman hazeh.
All right, good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, great. For some reason, I'm not coming up on my computer. But good morning and welcome to First Church Unitarian in Littleton, Massachusetts' virtual worship service. I join with Monica in welcoming you this morning. So glad that you're with us here on Zoom, virtual style, during our red light conditions. My name is Lara Hoke, and I'm so happy and so lucky to be the minister of this incredible congregation. I have a special thanks today to Cindy Malley, our lead deacon, for stepping up and being our guest preacher. I'm out of town. I'm speaking to you from my childhood bedroom in Pennsylvania, although it didn't look anywhere near this nice when I was in it. And I knew I was going to be away visiting my mother for her 80th birthday. So I lined up a guest preacher. Then we went into red light and we wanted to change it around. And Cindy volunteered at the very last minute to preach for us. And I'm so grateful to her. So it is wonderful to be together with you virtually. I love technology at times like this. And a reminder that our lay pastoral minister this morning is Carol Tillis. So welcome on this day. It is so good to be together. And I'm going to turn it over to Malley for our joyful noise. We are asynchronous on Zoom, but we can make noise together. So let's see what happens.
All right, so what we're going to do is have everybody unmute and make a noise. So we can all make a noise together. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, I see some smiles. That was pretty cool.
Bach.
Yeah, animals too.
Ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
It's funny.
We do.
Carolyn.
Thanks, everybody. That was fun. I always like that. It wakes us up. All right. So now we have another treat, which is a time for all ages, which is so one of the bonuses of being online is we can do a time for all ages. And this morning, our time for all ages will be told by our very own new Director of Religious Education, Thea Shapiro.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be with all of you. I've only been with all of you once, and it's nice to see you all on Zoom. So let's hope this works. You've all heard this story before, I'm sure, but it's such an appropriate story for the time of year. So I hope you enjoy it. I personally think you can't hear many really good stories too many times. Okay, The Gift of Nothing by Patrick McDonnell. It was a special day, and Mooch wanted to give his best friend Earl a gift. Hold on, I gotta move this. Okay, sorry. But what to get him? He had a bowl, he had a bed, he had a chew toy, he had it all. Mooch thought and thought, what do you get someone who has everything? Ah, nothing! He would give Earl the gift of nothing. But in this world filled with so many somethings, where could he find nothing? Mooch often heard Frank say that there's nothing on TV. But as far as Mooch could tell, there was always something on TV. Mooch often heard Doozy and her friends say there was nothing to do. But as far as Mooch could tell, everybody was always doing something. Millie came home from the store and said there was nothing to buy, so Mooch went shopping. Mooch looked up and down every aisle, and he found many, many somethings. The latest this, the newest that. But as far as he could tell, nothing was not for sale. So Mooch went home and sat on his pillow and just stayed still, as cats often do. And not looking for it, he found nothing. So he went and got a box and put nothing in it. Then Mooch thought, maybe Earl deserves more than this. So he got a bigger box. Now that's plenty of nothing. For me, said Earl. Mooch, you didn't have to give me anything. Who told him, thought Mooch. Earl opened Mooch's gift. There's nothing here, said Earl. Yes, said Mooch, nothing but you and me. So Mooch and Earl just stayed still and enjoyed nothing and everything. I hope you enjoyed that. It's one of my favorites.
Right. Thanks so much, Thea. That was great. So wonderful to have you telling us the story this morning. Yay. Okay. As always, we have an opportunity for generosity. As you know, First Church Unitarian Littleton is self-supporting, and we rely on the generosity of our members and friends to do everything we do, our ministries within our church walls and beyond them as well. If you'd like to make an offering this morning, you can, as usual, if you wish, send in a check or a pledge payment to the church. Forgot to put the address behind me, but it's First Church Unitarian, 19 Foster Street, Littleton, Massachusetts, 01460. Or if you like to give online, you're welcome to do that. Go to the website, fculittle.org, and go up to the upper right, you'll see a yellow donate button that will guide you through the ins and outs on donating online if you wish to do that. This morning's offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation.
The music you're going to be hearing for the offertory today is a round found in our hymnal for Dona Nobis Pacem. And this was recorded about a year ago when we were fully remote, and the church choir members sent me in recordings of themselves as we did throughout the year. And this particular round is in Latin. You might have heard the words Dona Nobis Pacem, and maybe you didn't know where it came from. These are words from a larger like text cycle called Agnus Dei in the traditional Latin Catholic Mass. And these words in particular, Dona Nobis Pacem, themselves translate to grant us peace.
Dona nobis pacem, pacem, Dona nobis pacem, Dona nobis pacem, Dona nobis pacem, Dona nobis pacem, pacem, Dona nobis 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 Pacem.
Thank you so much, choir, for recording that. That was just beautiful. Most weeks, the congregation shares a time to think about what is holy to us and what connects us to one another. And it's in this spirit that we share in Candles of Caring, or this week, our Joys and Concerns without candles. All right. So please join with me then in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Once again, we have come together in love and trust, sharing those cares dearest to us with this virtually gathered beloved community. Let us hold in our thoughts and perhaps our prayers those joys and concerns that were spoken aloud this morning, as well as those that remain unspoken as we share together in a time of sacred silence. Blessed be, and amen.
Spirit of God,
I am a Unitarian, Universalist, Humanist, Agnostic, or using the acronym, UHA. I am a Unitarian Universalist because obviously we are the coolest. I'm a humanist because even though I lost my faith in an all-powerful God, I've never lost my faith in people. And I'm an agnostic because I don't have any answers, and thinking about what came before this existence and what comes after gives me an overwhelming case of existential dread. So I choose to focus on this world and this life and hope in the end, it all works out. I could share how I went from being a young, devout Christian on the path to Baptist ministry to being the unrepentant middle-aged UHA on your screen this morning, but I suspect you would find it boring. So I'll save it for a Sunday when you're all trapped in the sanctuary. Here's the detail you need to know for today. I am a product of my fundamentalist Baptist upbringing. For example, I own 6 different Bibles right now. I believe I have seen every movie put out by Billy Graham Ministries between 1977 and 1989. And I'm pretty sure I played a shepherd in 16 different Christmas pageants. I'm telling you this so you can imagine my guilt when I knew I no longer believed in the nativity. Not the star, not the angels, not the virgin birth, not even Dominic the donkey. Don't tell my mom. I'm just kidding. Mom actually knows. One year I came home from Christmas break from my fancy college with my head full of exciting facts and pointed out that there are different nativity stories and there's no way Jesus was born in December. And do you have any idea how many religions with virgin birth there really are? And by the way, did you know that that tree in the sanctuary is actually pagan? I quickly learned that no one wanted to hear this new knowledge, and I would be much better off singing the hymns, drinking the eggnog, and shutting up. Over the years, I let go of my crosses and the nail we hung at the bottom of our tree representing the crucifixion and my multiple, very white nativity sets. Many UUs like me celebrate Christmas, even though we don't agree with the theology of our Christian cousins. And it is impossible to avoid the hype when the American celebration of Christmas begins sometime in mid-October. That makes this a strange time for UUs. If Jesus is the reason for the season, as the bumper sticker tells us, the question arises, can non-believers celebrate Christmas? Should we? In answer to this, we should ask ourselves, what is Christmas trying to say to us about how we should live our lives? How is it telling us to view the universe and our place in it? What is it trying to make us feel? For me, Christmas is really, truly about joy, hope, and the potential goodness of this world. Christmas wants to fill your heart with joyfulness and hope for a bright future. All of its trappings are trying to remind you that life is good. That joyfulness is right there, daring you to grab it. A lot of it is in the expectation of simply waiting for it to arrive, knowing you'll finally see your loved ones, looking forward to hearing Carolyn performing Christmastime, or knowing Charlie Brown will pick out that disappointing tree year after year, or just waiting up and trying to catch a peek of Santa. Christmas also gives us the miraculous ability to time travel. With the slightest measure, it transports us to the essence of what was good and right from our bygone holidays. A simple glass bottle of ginger ale takes you back to your grandfather's blowout holiday bashes where all the adults drank highballs and you wondered if it was possible to sneak one downstairs to your cousins in the basement. Or how you hear Perry Como's voice singing Home for the Holidays, and it's suddenly 1981, and your mom is baking kolaches, and your dad is singing along in his deep baritone, and you're 8 years old, and there are no worries about their health or budgets or long-term COVID. And a lump catches in your throat. It's nostalgia. Dangerous, I know. But sometimes, especially hard times, it's a good thing. But maybe for you, you need that nostalgic comfort because finding joy during this season is more difficult. Author Maggie Savage wrote, "Every December, I climb under my piano with my bottle of Grand Marnier, and I don't come out until after New Year's Day." I get that. And maybe it's not just the workload and the commercialism and the incessant playing of Little Drummer Boy. Maybe Christmas is just not good for you. Maybe you're really missing something or someone. Maybe you're grieving. Let's take a little look at that Christian myth of Christmas. It's not all shepherds celebrating and angels singing. When we're surrounded by the jingling bells and colored lights, we can miss the darkness in the story. In the Nativity, there's desperation. There's abject poverty. There's pain. There's a monstrous king. And there's so much fear. Whether you believe in these details, the story itself acknowledges the grief. It recognizes the darkness, but it does not allow despair to have the final word. In the Christian Christmas story, joy wins. It is a reminder that even with its hardships, life can be good. And even with injustice and pain, life can be hopeful. That hope is the same as the hope at the heart of Unitarian Universalism. As UUs, we share a fundamental belief that we must work to make the world a better place. As a humanist agnostic, I choose to focus on the reality that I know exists. I am not working from a past life, and I am not working towards some future heavenly goal. What matters to me most is who I am, and more importantly, what I do as I live and breathe in relationship with you and with the rest of the world. Our lives can be made better. Our relationships can be made better. The world can be made better, and nothing is outside of this hope. The influential Unitarian Universalist theologian James Luther Adams wrote an essay called Guiding Principles for a Free Faith. And his fifth principle of liberal religion is this: the resources that are available for the achievement of meaningful change justify an attitude of ultimate optimism. Let me explain that. As human beings, we can make meaningful change in this world. We are not helpless. We are not impotent. Remember the story of the little boy at the seashore throwing stranded starfish back into the sea? Why bother? You can't save them all. But the child replies, I just saved that one. That is ultimate optimism. Maybe what I'm doing right now isn't going to have immediate effects, but I have hope that my efforts will pay off and will create that just and loving world. We have hope that we can transform our lives into a rich and meaningful existence. And we have hope that the communities and relationships we nourish will blossom and grow. That is how we justify an attitude of ultimate optimism. That is why we should be a hopeful people. And Reverend Adams adds that although we may carry with us a spirit of ultimate optimism, we may not have immediate optimism. That means that while things may be difficult now, hope sees beyond this and into the world that could be. Right now, you are watching me through an electronic screen. Will this be the case forever? Absolutely not. The day is not very far away when we will be in the same room and able to hug without fear and embrace the children and applaud the choir and share food and laugh and cry and be in community, eye to eye, hand in hand. Hope helps us through times like this and guides us through the process of transformation where we will come out together on the other side. The essence of Christmas, and Unitarian Universalism for that matter, is that there is reason for this hope. In the biblical Christmas story in Matthew chapter 1, verse 23, it reads, "And they shall name him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. That reason for the season is Jesus, who comes to earth as a baby and brings God to humankind. For Christians, the hope of Christmas is the assurance that God is with them even in their darkest days. And that hope gives birth to boundless joy. My reason for the season is different. I don't find what I need in the story of the Nativity, but I do find what I need in the joyful music and the twinkling lights and the smell of fresh pine needles. I do find what I need when I gift sugar cookies and see lit candles and hear people shout Merry Christmas. I do find what I need in the joy-filled faces of children eager to see Santa, the stranger who pays for my cup of coffee, and even in my 50th rewatching of Christmas Vacation. But mostly, I find what I need in this darkest, coldest time of year in my relationships with you. Christmas, for this humanist agnostic, is all about the relationships we have with each other. The fact that you and I travel this world in the same place at the same time is a miracle that cannot be overstated. I say to you, regardless of your feelings about God's presence or absence, you are not alone. I am with you. We are with you. This community comes together in person and virtually to prevent our isolation, to remind each of us that we are not in this life alone. The blessing that is Christmas reminds you that you are loving and loved. The blessing that is Christmas reminds you that you matter. The blessing that is Christmas reminds you to embrace hope for the future. And the blessing that is Christmas reminds all of us to keep joyfulness in our heart through the dark, cold winter until the flowers return with the spring. And with that, I wish you the merriest of agnostic Christmases and a happy humanist New Year. Blessed be, and amen.
Our musical reflection today echoes a lot of the sentiments that Cindy was just talking about. It's called Peace, and it's by George Winston from his December album. Some of you might have heard it before. And I recorded it on the piano, and then I tried to make a video that was peaceful. And so I chose a lot of things that were peaceful to me, and it includes lots of nature. So I hope you enjoy the music and you enjoy some of these images of George Winston's Peace.
For our closing words today, I would love it if it were possible for you to either hold hands with someone who is near you, or put your hands together, or reach out to the sides of your screen so we can virtually connect with each other. When you head out into this busy and uncertain world, please take a few of our gifts with you. Take the gift of serenity for those times when anxiety or concern get the better of you. And please take a gift of joy, a gift of hope, and a gift of community so you can remind yourself that you too deserve the best of this holiday season. Blessed be. Amen. Thank you.
And the postlude today is a shorter arrangement of the well-known Canon by Pachelbel, which is also hundreds of years old, which is interesting to think about.
Thank you, Molly. That was beautiful. And thank you to everyone who participated in today's service. Lovely. And Cindy, thank you again. That was a beautiful message. Thank you so much.